base. Once you've prepped your orange and your green on Twisted Meadows and how aggressive orcs can be on that map, I just don't risk it. I just kind of hang out around my base and try and make sure where they are, maybe harass their base a little bit, but I never stray too far on that map from my base early game. I'm totally happy with level 2. So I get my Panda. I just bought it with one of my footies, a weak footy I had. I probably should have gone for this round there, but I don't know. Maybe I couldn't have gotten it. Anyway, so I went straight to his base before I could buy my tier 2 hero, because usually they build their stuff a little bit before that. So I was just canceling buildings while waiting to get my second hero. So that sets him back a bit, puts me in a pretty good position. Once I get my Panda, I usually come over and I just start spamming Breath of Fires. Once minus 33 gold for every unit or hero I get low. He kind of screws up there with his control, it seems, and ends up having a TP. I don't think he intended to go right there next to the back of my army. So Breath of Fire has a pretty long range. It goes. You get more adjusted to the range the more you use it, but I knew I could cancel as far as to resolve there. And that's another great thing about this. Usually once you get their units low with some footman hits and some Breath of Fire spam, you can come in and spam one last Breath of Fire to cancel some solves, which hurts them even more. Oh, that was a nice little surround by him. I think orcs should have a speed score on them against human at all times, because the ability for surrounds and stuff is very nice, and it helps him a lot. I probably could have done better at avoiding that surround, but he got it. It was a nice job by him, so whatever. I speed built both my sanctums. I'm pumping out. I like to go 2 sorceries, 2 priests, then sorcery priest, and then sorcery adept sorceress, as far as the order in which I build things out of my sanctum. So that's 2 sorceresses, then I build 2 priests, then I build a sorceress in one, a priest in one, then another sorceress in one, and then the adept upgrade in another. And then after that I concentrate on breakers. I usually spend, after I've done my little initial tier 2 harass, canceling buildings and trying to get some of his units low to where he'll have to use solves. I concentrate on getting level 3 on both my heroes. Sometimes I forget to, but once I get level 3 on my Archmage, I pretty much let the Panda get all of the EXP. Because level 2 Blizz, level 2 Breath of Fire is a murderer. Yeah, okay. So I'm still just kind of creeping along, and I don't know if I scanned him, but usually I saw that he was trying to build a Spirit Lodge and a Bestiary when I harassed. So unless I see Shaman, I'm not really going to worry too much about what he's getting. Pretty much any tier 2 ground army, I do pretty much the same thing too. Just breakers, 4 sorceresses, 3 priests. Once again, if they get a lot of spirit breakers, or just some kind of a lot of anti-caster, I get a couple more sorceresses. But other than that, not really. If you see 2 bestiary, or you see one lodge, 1 bestiary, and you see shaman, to me, shaman screams wyverns. To me, the second I see someone build shaman and they have a bestiary, I build an aviary just to make sure that I'm ready to counter their whiz. I tried to do a funny little trick there. You get a better sense for it the more you play as to what your opponent is creeping. I mean, you just kind of think, what have I crept, and how long has it been since I last saw him, and where was he? And then you just try and envision what they crept. So I imagine he was either clearing the merchant or the marketplace, and so I went to the merchant, and I have backpack upgrade, and I envised a footman. I was going to try and steal the item he got from his creeps, and get some gold from it or use it or whatever, but he picked it up too fast. So that kind of sucked. I was just trying to send my casters up here, and they ended up going around to the left instead of around to the right. I should have caught that, and I ended up losing a sorceress and a priest or something. I saw he was trying to tower me, so I figured maybe he's trying to do a push on me. I bring some militia, and once again, anytime you're near your base, bring some militia. and unless he has a lot of AoE, or it's like a level 5 Dark Ranger or something. So I'm just using my Breath of Fire, trying to micro to the best of my ability. Every time a militia gets low, I just press it and hit W, which sends him back to work. You get pretty good timing against demos, and one thing too is a lot of time when orcs micro demos, they just select the demos and then have them both focus fire on the same caster. So when you see them both attack the same caster at the same time, usually what to do is just move that single caster every time right before the demos attack. And if they don't pick up on it and they don't change which caster they attack, they'll end up missing, and it'll just make their demos essentially do nothing the entire battle. So it's definitely something to watch out for. If both their demos attack the same unit, just move that unit around constantly, and the demos will kind of chase it. And sometimes if you move it far back, the demos will chase it, and you can bring the demos into your army and take them out with your casters and Breath of Fire and stuff. So that's pretty much a good game. I slowed as far as here, took it out. As you can see, my army is pretty much still intact. I have 4 priests, 4 sorceresses, and some breakers. He's kind of, you know, guys, it never makes you look better. It really doesn't when you either whine or when you make excuses. I mean, I've never played someone who I beat and they said, God freaking ping, and I was like, yeah, he would have beat me had he had low ping. I mean, that's never the response it's gotten. So I don't know why people do it. And now he's just kind of complaining. And yeah, I know this is an imbalanced matchup, but he's like, fucking skilled you are. So I'm just kind of being a smart ass to him and aggravating him, because, you know, that's the fun thing to do when people are angry. Anyway, so yeah, that's one thing. Guys, just try and stay mannered. There's nothing more I hate than people who complain a lot, or who just badmouth you at the end of the match. I mean, that's the thing I hate. In-game complaint, excuses, and badmouthing. I hate that. It's the quick. No matter how good you are, I don't like you if you're like that. So this game's pretty much over. I'm focusing on his demos. They're expensive. They're easy for me to kill, and I manually slowed them so I could target them. At first, I was thinking that he was just massing towers trying to spite me or something. So I mean, I think we both kind of knew that the game was over at this point, and it is. Oh, there we go. That must be one way to say GG. Alright, please load up the third replay. Pause at the 10-second mark and put it at 1x speed. Once again, please load up the third replay. Pause at the 10-second mark and put it at 1x speed. I'm going to have to go into WC3 chart right now and try and find the replay that I'm looking for. Alright, this match is against amateurs. I forgot, I thought this was someone, not like someone really special or anything, but like some kind of, you know, kind of WPL quality player. I don't really remember. I thought this was someone. So, I don't know. You guys can point it out if you know who this is. I don't really care. I'm not trying to smoke out every person I play. I just was thinking about that. Anyway, he had a pretty nice record on WCG Mercury, and in this game, the reason I chose this game is that it really showcases the power of Breath of Fire and Blizzard. So anyway, please get ready to unpause the replay in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. As you can see, I spawn on the left, he spawns on the right. Kind of have the same things going through my head as last game. Is there anything more I want to talk about? As far as like, as you'll see this game, he gets Shaman. and once again, like I said, whenever I see Shaman, I'm thinking Wiz. The reason people get Shaman with Wiz is because usually when they're facing Archmage Beastmaster, a lot of humans are kind of like, they mask the crap out of casters. They have Archmage Beastmaster, like, oh well, if they get Wyverns, they'll take it out with my summons. So some orcs like to go Shaman and Wiz, because then they just automatically purge the summons, and the Wiz pick off the casters, and, you know, get a good game. So I think it's important. When you see Shaman, just have the red flag up. Be scouting for Wyverns. If they have a Bestiary and they get Shaman, I automatically make an Aviary and 1 or 2 Hawks, just in case, even if I don't see any Wyverns. Obviously, if he seems to be producing Raiders or Kodos or something else out of the Bestiary, I stopped making Hawks, but I don't like to mess around. And you may ask, why Hawks instead of rifles or I don't know, gyros? Gyros actually aren't that bad a counter to Wyverns. You have to micro it like crazy. You have to split them into groups of 1 and 2 and spread them out so that if they get Bat Riders, they have to trade 1 Bat Rider for like 1 gyro. I mean, it's crazy intense micro, but it's actually pretty good counter to Wyverns, surprisingly. I like to get Hawks because, for a few reasons. One, I don't like the fact that rifles can be taken out by AoE. I hate it late game when they have a bunch of Wyverns and then they get like level 3 Shockwave and I'm stuck with rifles. I mean, it's just not going to last against AoE. I don't like the fact that it can be hit by Shockwave. I just don't like it. So I prefer Hawks. Also, rifles alone usually don't stop peasant harass from Wyverns, which is one of the most, if not the most annoying part about Wyverns, is the fact that they just keep harassing your wood and gold peasants. And so usually if you go rifles, you have to build 3-4 guard towers in your base just to keep off Wyvern harass. Unlike Hawks, if I go Hawks, if they come and start harassing my peasants, I'm just going to shackle them and games can be over. And people may be asking, well then you get Hawks, then they get Bat Riders, game over. If they get Bat Riders, you research Invis and Invis all your Dragon Hawks. And then that way, you know, I mean, unless they get Sentry Wards or something, and if they get Sentry Wards, I mean, you know, they can't have that many Bat Riders. So unless they put Sentry Wards all across the map, usually you'll be able to surprise them with your Dragon Hawks and catch them in a shackle. And yeah, so you invis them, and then when you see their Wyverns and their Bat Riders, shackle the Bat Riders first and shackle as many Wyverns as you can. And really, even without invis, if you have a good number of Hawks, they won't be able to get that many Bat Riders unless they have an expansion or win MC Jude strat or something. And you just micro them well, spread them out, use protection scrolls, healing scrolls if they do mass the crap out of air, and you'll be able to take on Bat Riders. So I really genuinely prefer. And another thing, nice thing about about going Hawks is that I already have a mill with my normal versus Orc build. Once again, I screwed up my versus Orc build this game, and I didn't have an early lumber mill. But oh well. Once again, here's what happens. I went too far away from my base. And he goes straight for peasants. I think he could have spent a little bit more time there, taking off lumber peasants, stuff like that. I don't know why he just kind of ran away. I think a lot of the time people are just way too afraid of arcane towers. It's just amazing. People just run. I mean, there's that famous A Lake Duck game where he sees an arcane tower and he just left the game, and you know, that's quite a famous game. Where you just, you know, the arcane towers are totally imbalanced, whatever. But I think people just fear them. Screw it. So what if your Farseer loses its mana? You've already got Wolves casted. You've got your Farseer's attack and your grunts. Just take out peasants, dude. I mean, one of the Night Elves I play with, he was, we played some games together. He asked me for some suggestions, and every time I went into my base and I wasn't there, he would focus fire in buildings. Like, he would attack my racks instead of going for my peasants. So I'm like, dude, if I'm not there, just go for peasants. Go into that peasant line. Screw that stuff up. And he started doing it, and he's become so much harder now. The last 2 times I played him, he beat me. So just that small bit of advice alone really changed the outcome of our matches. But, anyway, yeah, so if the orcs, I mean, if the human's way creepy, guys, and you're alone in his base, just get in there, man. Stir stuff up. Try and kill a few peasants. If you kill like 4 peasants while they're teching, they probably won't have lumber for 2 sanctums to at least to speed build them at tier 2, which will slow them down. In many ways, even if you end up having a TP, which in a lot of cases I don't think you end up being forced to